Dr. Weiner, when did you decide to draw a picture of an elephant?
Just a second.
She predicted it perfectly.
Miss McCall, you're fabulous.
I've been told that before. Then they never call.
Welcome back to Pastor Personality. And today we're looking at everybody's favorite type, the INFJ, who I like to call the organizers of conceptual feelings, or for a better term, psychic hippies. Now, as with every personality type, there are actually two types of that main type. So for the INFJ, they can be found in two different types of personalities. The first is the standard INFJ personality, which we call the NiFe. And they're asking the question, does this concept meet everyone's needs? This is the psychic hippie type of INFJ. Then there is the jumper INFJ, who uses their T above their F. They are NiTis. They would be considered a double introvert INFJ. And before seeing if a concept will meet everyone's needs, they're looking to see if the concept first works for them. Then if it does, then they can use it to meet everyone's needs. Before we get into examples of INFJs, there's another element that's missing that we need to discuss, and that is how every personality, every person, every type have what we call information and energy animals. You either are on the blast consume part of the spectrum, which deals with information, or the play sleep part of the spectrum, which is energy. We all have all four, but they're different ordered. Blast has this idea of getting started with things very easily, jumping from one thing to the next. Consuming is someone who's much more processed, takes a longer time for them to jump around to different subjects. When they start something, they will finish it to the very end. Then the energy animals is pretty self-explanatory. Someone with a lot of play energy would be someone who's constantly going and doing and experiencing, and someone with a lot of sleep energy is someone who's much more introspective, if you will. They would much rather stay home and kind of just be to themselves. Let's start with the blasting INFJs. These are the standard version INFJ kind of archetype. And so these INFJs would very simply be try before self. And so they're using their introverted intuition to really hone in on specific patterns and concepts, and then taking that knowledge that they have and then using it for the benefit of the tribe. That is their extroverted feeling, the good of the tribe. And so that's why this stereotype of INFJ counselors or psychologists or psychics are doing this NF work for the person coming to them, the person they're trying to help. And so the stereotype, for the most part, makes sense that a blasting INFJ is wanting to talk about, blast, and tell someone what they can do to make their life better, give insight into their life, counsel them through the situation. It's very natural for them. They might not view themselves this way. They may view themselves as a thinker or even a sensor, because that is a demon function for them. But they will naturally be able to look into people's lives and really help them understand the patterns that they continue to find in their own life. Then we have the other type of INFJ, which is more of the processing INFJ. They use what we call a lot of sleep energy, mental processing energy, and they resemble more of an NT than they would an NF. But they have the same functions as a standard INFJ. They just jump their feeling function for their thinking function. And so while they want to help the tribe and help the person they're dealing with or the group of people understand what's happening in their life to help them, they have to first understand it for themselves. They have to have this logical reason to then go and help them. So it's much more of an NT approach to helping the tribe. So let's take a look at some real-world examples. So Marshall Mathers, Eminem, is a sleep, consume, NiTi. He is a processed INFJ who is NT. He would be the most introverted type of an INFJ. You can have a slightly more extroverted type of an INFJ who's a jumper. And then you have the true, what we call INFJ type. The dog whisperer here, Cesar Millan, would be a good example of that. He is blast, he is helping, he is leading, he is teaching. Then he has the sleep energy next. So he would be a extrovert / introvert INFJ. He has a hand in both worlds, if you will. And then you have someone like Darren Brown, who is known as the mentalist, and he is a very extroverted INFJ. He would come across as more extroverted than your typical INFJ. He has a lot of blasting, what we call teaching, getting started type of energy, but he also has this play energy as well. So that is the INFJ. Now, as an INFJ will struggle with control issues. They're organized people when it comes to conceptual modes of thinking and things, how their life works together, but they're going to struggle with control, and chaos of any sort is going to be a big fear for them. So comment below, maybe talk a little bit about some INFJs you've come across or some consistencies you've seen with the things that we've talked about in this video today. I'd love to hear about them.
No, this is the first time I seen this behavior. Yeah. So you see, just a relaxation. It's an understanding. I didn't see that coming.